My name is Gordon Lee. I have been an ordained pastor for 35 years. I have been a licensed professional counselor for approximately 10 years. Well, I've been doing premarital counseling for 35 years. I've been doing it ever since I started the ministry. And for many years I used a really wonderful instrument called Prepare Enrich. But I realized that as a pastor there were two things that I was not feeling when I would get done working with couples. First, I usually had no more than 4 hours to spend with a couple, and part of the time was lost when I was with the couples and just initially getting to know them, and then the last session them wanting to go in the sanctuary and talk about the wedding. So I realized that couples really weren't even getting 4 hours of counseling. I had believed for a long time there had to be something to complement the Prepare Enrich instrument, where couples would be given the opportunity to delve deeper into all the 9 core areas of marriage, to have them go through in depth a series of questions regarding their family of origin, regarding the present, how their relationship is in the present, how they are connecting during the present with their families, with their siblings. And then I believe that we needed to give them a series of questions that dealt with how they anticipated moving into the future, and tailoring it so that questions would work on and talk about concerning their expectations of one another in marriage and their expectations of themselves. 12 years ago, I developed this program, and through the years it's undergone a lot of tweaks and just trying to make it better and better. Now working with my son and his wife and my wife, and we are working with just a number of congregations in North Dakota and in Minnesota, and we are helping couples mainly through experience at a 2-day retreat where we present information, say on family or on communication or conflict resolution or finances, and then after we do about a 20-25 minute presentation, they go off by themselves for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, and they work through questions together, and then we come back, and during that hour when they are out by themselves, we are constantly kind of roaming the halls and to be accessible, so that if a couple is struggling with something, that we're available. What we find is that when couples come to the retreats, a lot of times there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of nervousness, and by the end of the retreat, we have those nervous couples telling us things like, this is the best thing we could ever have possibly done. We talked about things we had never talked about, and we thought coming in we had talked about everything. Our response has just been incredible from the couples and from their pastors. Our program is grounded in Christian values. We start every section with scripture, and we unpack that scripture for the couples and help them understand how it relates to marriage. And the pastor meets with a couple. They get to meet with them after they've undergone all this education, training. They've worked through all these questions. So they're not starting with them at the beginning. They are seeing them after they've gone through this at least 16 hours process. The other thing is they have a couple who's come in who have gone through 3 different spiritual formation exercises. So when the couple comes in, if pastor is fortunate enough to be able to devote 4 hours of time, they can start with saying, oh, I see you're still struggling in conflict. I see that you're still struggling in the area of spirituality. I see you really feel like you've grown in communication. So to me, the time a clergy person spends is it's so much better utilized. Now that we have expanded and put our program online, in order to make it less expensive but still accessible to couples and pastors, especially if they are if the couple is in Minneapolis and the pastor is in Lignite, North Dakota, that we've made it possible that when the couple does meet with the pastor for those 2 hours or so they're able to give over Thanksgiving weekend, the pastor can feel like, you know, I actually feel like I know this couple. And the pastor can feel like I have, in this world where there's so much divorce and so much heartache, especially not just for the couple but for their children, I have done everything within my power to help them have a sustainable marriage. Many churches that have taken us on, and we've been with them for years. And it's basically to send a couple to a retreat or have a couple do the online experience. And you know, you can always stop. But frankly, we have not had that happen. When people get hooked up with us, they stay. And I think the biggest feedback is that I get hugs. When my colleagues see me, they give me hugs and they say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have saved me so much time. You have your program, the couples are happy. They say it is so worthwhile. They're so glad they went through it. And I have the comfort of knowing that, especially if I sign a document saying they've had 12 hours of preparation in the area of marriage, I can sign that document with integrity. So I just hear over and over again gratitude.